So Diego Simeone as a manager, he actually played football to an extent, we would say, amongst the greats, but sorry, as a player, he actually played football amongst the greats, with the great players also. But when you look at this type of player and the person he is currently now, there's a lot more disparity between these two persons. So for me, I really think this man was certainly built to be a manager, not really excel in knocking the round leather game as a player.
So do you think that with his kind of conservative attributes when he was a player, he deserved to be celebrated in the cadre of those who we call legends from maybe Argentine football? When you look at the legendary attributes of those like Messi and all of that, do you think he deserves a place in that cadre?
No disrespect. Every player deserves a place somewhere in football because every player, 11 of them contribute in and out, on and off the pitch. When you talk about Argentine greats, if my memory serves me right, we talk about a certain Mario Kempes who actually lifted the World Cup in 1978. We talk about a certain Diego Armando Maradona who actually lifted the World Cup in 86. And we talk about a certain Carlos Tevez even. We talk about, there's so many players. Argentine team is, I would say, the best team outside Brazil, the best. South America, that's where football lies. So you can't mention these players and you mention Diego Simeone alongside them. But I can beat my chest to tell you that when it comes to managerial career, he has actually beat them. But when it comes to playing career, I think these people have actually beat Diego Simeone when it comes to their playing career. So Diego Simeone, yes, he has found his feet in the managerial career and he has actually done well as a player, but we can't actually call him a legend in the Argentine national team.
With his pattern of play, he was a little bit very stubborn. He plays like Vitinha.
Yeah.
If you look at the way he played as Vitinha, played like this guy from Morocco that plays for Achraf Hakimi. These kind of players who are reserved, but if you give it to them, they give you back.
They tell you.
So do you think that also, and being a midfielder, played number 4, do you think that also pushed him, has created the foundation to becoming a manager? That attribute, that fierce and fiery, dispositions made him to also become the good manager that he is today.
Okay, I'll give an example. Didier Deschamps.
Okay.
I did not watch Didier Deschamps, but technology has helped us to look at clips on and off the pitch. I mean, on the pitch and off the pitch. On the pitch now, Didier Deschamps is not this type of player that you see his impact. He's a leader. So that can be likened to Diego Simeone too. Yeah. Didier Deschamps is this player that you don't really see him knocking the ball, but you see his organizational prowess. Same thing with Diego Simeone. You don't really see him in that fierce contest. What you see him do, he gets the ball, retains possession, spreads it, and gives leadership on the pitch. So, right from the pitch, he has already developed his managerial career. Right from the pitch. His leadership skill has been developed right from the pitch. So I see Diego Simeone as someone who has actually developed himself right from the pitch as a leader. Even while playing football, and up until this time, being the manager.
So when you look at the laurels, he won a couple of domestic titles with Lazio, one with Atletico Madrid, and some other teams. But and he also got some Copa America with Argentina.
Yes, 91 and 93.
Exactly. So how will you look at this? Do you think that his movement, his quick movement, because at the time he moved, it is rare to get to see some of them, except for the likes of Ronaldo that played for Real Madrid and all that. At that time, it was rare. Yes, we started seeing some of the South American team moving to Europe. But at that time, when you make such move, you're a big boy because, arguably it was difficult. Corinthians is there, some of the big names clubs there. So they have their own structure. So to them, you can play in your continent and still make name and be valuable. Yeah. But because of his excellent move and the fact that he was able to gather those momentum, he moved. So will you say in his playing days, the fact that he played so well for Argentina, played about 100 caps for Argentina, and then he also played about 500 professional games for the clubs he played in Europe. Which of these is more valuable to who to shaping who he becomes today?
Okay. Diego Simeone played Zio in Italy, Inter Milan in Italy. So I could say that he has actually made and brought up in Italy.
Yeah.
And when you look at it, in this frame, you will agree with me vividly that at the point he played for Inter Milan, for example, they were a powerhouse. They were firing from all cylinders. So, yes, we understood the fact that if you actually played for Corinthians, if you actually played for Botafogo, if you actually played for Grêmio even in the Brazilian division, first division, you actually still make a carve for yourself. Okay. You actually still come out on top as a player because we saw a certain Neymar and Ronaldinho come out from those cadets. But he decided to go to Europe, which was a very, very good move for him. And that also helped shape him as a player.
Yeah.
On one side, or most especially shape him as a player, shape him as a manager. Playing for clubs like Inter Milan then was no child's play. Even now, playing for clubs like Inter Milan then was no child's play. It was an honor to play for a club like Inter Milan, Lazio, Atletico de Madrid then. So it actually helped shape, refine, and polish this Buenos Aires-born gaffer to who he is today. So for me, I think making the move to Europe was a very big plus to him. And he was actually able to make that move. You know, when you play for teams in your home country, perhaps they may call you a local champion. Also, they may say that you have not tasted Europe and you need to go to Europe and you need to also do some other things outside your continent. But defying all odds, growing up in a very tough background, he was able to make the move out of South America, go to Europe, and not just go to Europe. There are so many players who have been to Europe and they did not excel, but Diego Simeone was different. He moved to Europe, played for clubs like Inter Milan, Lazio, and the rest of them, and he excelled predictably well. So, kudos to him.
Kudos to him, and of course, if you have been watching, we're looking at Diego Simeone as our sports personality on this Saturday edition of the show. And of course, if you have been following, it's not clear how he excelled as a player, the little that he was able to do. And I mean, not even a lot of professional players do not have to play 100 times for their country. It tells you the kind of person that we're talking about here, who plays almost 100 caps, you know, for Argentina, and then like 500 caps, you know, for clubs in Europe. That's fantastic for a manager who continues to redefine himself. But let's talk about how he now transits from becoming, from being a player to a coach. When Diego Simeone retired in 2006, he immediately switched to coaching. He didn't take an easy route. He started in Argentina with Racing Club, then went on to coach Estudiantes, where he won the Argentine Primera Division in 2006, followed by another stint with River Plate, guiding them to 2008 Crucera title, another domestic title there if you ask me. These early years in Argentina tested him. Simeone had to learn how to manage egos, work under financial struggles, and instill discipline in teams that lack consistency. Those experiences toughened him enough, and in 2011, Atletico Madrid is struggling both domestically in the league and Europe, brought him back as head coach. The club was 9th in La Liga and fans were restless. Simeone took over with fire in his eyes, and within months, the Atletico we knew today began to take shape. This is fantastic and very impressive.
Very fantastic,
and you think it was wise enough for him to start coaching after playing in Europe, and then you go back to your nation to coach? You know, was it trying to prove something, or you just felt that, okay, let me go back, maybe I may not have a job here yet, because then managerial stint was difficult to get? Do you think that could have been the reason behind him going back to Buenos Aires, Argentina, to start a coaching career?
No, not exactly. If you look at the culture of South Americans, they are in this culture of giving back. Okay. I'll use a setting Arturo Vidal, you know him, the former Juventus, Bayern Munich, and Barcelona midfielder. He actually went back to his native club in Chile, Colo Colo, to play football. We have heard a certain Messi say, you go back to Newell's to play football. You know, they want to give back. After several years in Europe, even as a player or as a manager, they just want to give back. a certain Carlos Tevez went back to Argentina. I'm trying to remember the club, but went back to Argentina. Though we're not able to see him, but I used to see the extended highlight. And we want to watch Carlos Tevez again in front of the home fans of his native country. So, Diego Simeone, after his stint, retired in 2006, went back, coached clubs like Racing Club, San Lorenzo, Estudiantes. I think he also coached a club in Italy, Catania. So, but he had 4 stints in his own country. Why? They love to give back to their country. They love to come back. What they have learned, what they have gathered outside, they bring it back to their home country and they give back to the younger generations. I bet you there are so many players that was under the tutelage of Diego Simeone today who have played football outstandingly well as professionals. We may not have heard about them, but I am convinced that he has actually coached legends who have actually given back to their club, who has actually made sure that they have given back to their club in their home country and also gone out to Europe and to also give their best. So for me, I do not tie that down to the fact that he was unable to get a coaching job in Italy. No. Remember, I told you he coached in San Lorenzo, which is in Italy. So he was able to go back. They have this culture of giving back. South American, that is their culture.
Because I'm just wondering why a player like this is a player who played his race in Europe. Yes, Musa came back. Yes. Ahmed Musa came back, no doubt. Daye came back. But I'm just wondering why a player, would just leave. And then at that time, because when you are done with your playing career, you are still at your peak. Yeah. But let's look at what other qualities, like other former players, that also made him think that he can be exceptional in the touchline. Because I'm sure that he would have also looked at some coaches while he was playing and the qualities that he has, like you talked about him being a leader, when he was playing too. So do you think all of this put together made him to say, because at the time when you're living professional playing career, you'd have be thinking, okay, should I go into punditry? Should I go into what will become of my life after football? Do you think that also set in at some point? And what was the difficulty that made him come to terms with, I want to become a coach?
Just like I've said, everything is tied to his leadership prowess. We have seen situations where players, after their playing days, there are so many things to do. In the weekend, Liverpool played Crystal Palace, though they lost. No, before Liverpool played Crystal Palace, Liverpool played Everton, and they won 2-1. Guess what I saw beside, what's his name, Ancelot? Peter Crouch. I saw Peter Crouch, and this is a legend in Liverpool. So, after football, there's so many things to do. So many things to do. We saw a certain Matthew Flamini actually go into business. And he started even the richest footballer. There's so many things to do. So it's not tied to the fact that he was actually looking for what to do. But he actually knew that he would go into coaching. And we have seen so many players who were fantastic players but bad managers. And we have seen players who did not make a mark but actually good managers.